I mean, is he gonna attack? Yeah, I'll just take the anti-tank grenades straight away and just keep the Lukes at bay that way. It's a good thing about conscripts. They're not very good at killing infantry, but they're great at stalling, and that's what they do. They offer themselves as a meat shield until the Soviet player can build something better, and they're very good at capping the map and getting shot at. It's not a great job, but it's what they do. It's almost like what a penal battalion should do. And then the penal battalion are ubermensch guys with all this great kit. But no, it seems to work.
Lukes has just made its first opening on the map right now. There are guards on the field, but no other form of 18. I haven't seen many mines, if any, planted by Vonasten so far. It's the role of the Volksgrenadiers to push the guards away right now as the Lukes does work to the maxim. This engagement is, I think, important for Talisman, potentially taking double fuel.
Nice incendiary grenade squad to push away the guards to allow the Lukes to advance upon the Maxim, and Vonasten knows it and he's had to full retreat away. Elsewhere in the north, we've got Stern Pioneers versus 2 conscript squads. That Stern Pioneer is stalling out because he wants to protect the fuel, but even if the Stern Pioneers has to retreat down, look at Talisman. He's already got 2 Volksgrenadiers in position behind green cover. So this is deep defense now, and this is exactly how Talisman plays. It doesn't matter if the Stern Pioneer falls, because there's the second line of defense behind it. And that's incredibly tactically astute gameplay.
Stalling with units and longing out the engagements. Again, time is a resource. There's no way those conscripts wanted to be sitting there firing at Stern Pioneers long range. The green cover is really important for that. And I love the fact that they build so much of it.
As I say, the impressive thing is he's preparing not just for that engagement, but the one that follows it. So he could bring the Volksgrenadiers into position and help out the Stern Pioneers, but no, he plays on a slightly different way. He actually prepares for the next engagement already. And winning gunfights in Company Heroes is much like any FPS game or any actual military confrontation. And one of the #1 rules is always fight on your terms. Let them come to you. And that's how Talisman plays. And it's riveting. Look at all this action.
Let them come to you.
That's what he does,
though. It's been 3 hours of this grueling semi-final series.
I often say that,
so,
go
on. Tier 3 had gone up for Vonasten. He's going to be bringing out the T70. It's going to be a response to the Lukes, as well as the guards that are on the field. I mean, there is enough infantry, capable infantry, to play here. I'm surprised that Vonasten isn't pushing more. We've got mines laid down on the north. But I have to say, the Lukes has been quite menacing. Love the positioning from the Stern Pioneers as well. You see they were hiding in the house, so that as soon as the squad got in, they were ready and firing at the door.
Good ambush tactics. We're starting to see a little bit as well how Talisman is able to control so many infantry squads at the same time. He doesn't. He anchors them behind green cover, and then that allows him to keep the others in rotation. A little bit of a late retreat there. Will he get punished? Got conscripts filling around this bush, trying to get a nice squad wipe here. Will Vonasten be able to pull it off? He's going to focus fire now. Let's see if he manages to do it.
I think if he'd have stood still and taken shots, he would have had that squad wipe. He missed the perfect opportunity for that rare.
He did. What was that about? He didn't focus fire.
Sure. That was a real failure, actually.
It was, yeah. He should have. I mean, everybody in the world would have expected all 12 of those Mosin Nagant rifles to turn, 90 degrees to the south and shoot those last 2 models, and they didn't. That's odd.
Oh, look at this. Stern Pioneers are still there. And they're going to be taking down the MG, which isn't even focused firing on them. It's actually focused on the MG in the other building. There are Volksgrenadiers hiding behind the line of sight on the left. Missed an opportunity to Faust the T70. And Lukes is just on its own on the right-hand side. Could be doing some more work.
Look at these Volksgrenadiers behind the bush. He's waiting for an ambush there. He's going to try and Faust. What have you seen?
Oh my word! Infiltration grenades!
Oh, infiltration! Eat your heart out. That's exactly what that was. Those Volksgrenadiers were in the bushes, Dan.
That was incredible. That's what he was waiting for. I thought it was going to be the Faust on the T70. No, it wasn't. He was waiting for those squads to get there, and look at the carnage that came from that.
Can I just talk about the Manstein Line and the Winter War, where the Soviets attacked poor old Finland and Stalin thought it'd be over in 2 weeks, Dan? The Finns hid in the trees They let columns of Soviets march past them until it was too late, and then ambushed them through the trees, Molotoved their tanks and sniped their infantry, and it was a massacre. They had 10-to-1 casualties, and that's I'm not trying to be nationalistic here, but it's very reminiscent, and it's quite cool the fact that Talisman is Finnish, because it is one of the coolest military stories in history, and I'd like to pretend that was a small microcosm of that.
It's interesting. You're very full of facts, eh?
Thank you, and that was a perfect opportunity to do an analogy because it was literal 100% awesomeness.
We've got the Boomer here, may have found the T-70 out. Will Talisman push? There is a mine on the north side, and actually Vonasten hasn't baited that direction, which is interesting. I thought he'd have chosen the path of the mine. Maxim there struggling to suppress the Volksgrenadiers in green cover. Vonasten fighting for those VPs, and Talisman's playing so defensively with the Volksgrenadiers. I really like this because they don't really have so much power when they're playing so aggressively out of cover, but where he's positioned himself is nearly allowing him to win all engagements.
So got Vonasten starting to get a little bit more aggressive now in the south, but as we already mentioned, Talisman's waiting for him. Wherever he tries to attack, Talisman's got a prepared defense, and people might accuse Talisman of being defensive. Like, you know, in boxing, Dan, you got Mayweather, Floyd Moneyweight Mayweather. He's a defensive counterpuncher. He lets people come to him and he just hits them in the face. That's what Talisman's doing. He's like, come at me, bro. I'll hit you in the face. And you got lesser educated sports fans will watch Mayweather and go, oh my god, you know, what a wimp. he's worth £100 million.
Have you seen Talisman here stopping with the Lukes really quickly? So he's kind of moving, then he's stopping the Lukes to get the higher accuracy on the models that are retreating. And do you know what? I don't see enough players doing this with their vehicles. There is an accuracy reduction modifier. You know, when you're moving, it's like one of the realism features of the game. And Talisman, watch him when he does it. You can see him stop the vehicles as they fire.
So exciting.
He's great vehicle control.
Dude, he's playing awesomely. I actually 100% approve. Speaking to people yesterday, I hadn't actually watched the Talisman games fully, just the one I did cast, that Decider. And people were like a little bit, oh my god, all these games are lasting so long, why is he doing that? Seeing him play, he's got a plan, man. I don't want to gush too much about him, we've got to give Vonasten some credit on everything he's done, but in this game, let's be honest, Talisman's manhandling him. Oh, Raketten was waiting for the T-70. The Puma's now going to target it.
He's under pressure to ground attack. He nearly got that. He nearly got the shot with the Raketten. Fortunate for Vonasten there. If he'd have lost that, that would have been a serious situation. Conscripts are uraring in. Looks like they want to try and get the 18-8 on, and Talisman hasn't got there in time. Doesn't look like there's enough damage done. Stern Pioneers are still repairing, even through the Maxim.
Yeah, all that hail of bullets is still got a few bits of blowtorching in. Oh, what's this conscript doing? It's a good job that STG Volksgrenadier is suppressed because it'd be dead otherwise.
Well, he had actually to do that because there were infiltration nades behind where he was. So he actually had to run forward. He couldn't have retreated at that point. Tripwire flares from the conscripts here. I like that. That's Vonasten laying signals, knowing that Talisman's on the left-hand side and trying to take VPs.
In a way, then. Remember when we cast all those Talisman second place defeats in ESL? We like had 5 of them way back in the day. We cast all of them, didn't we? He kept coming second, basically. He came second 5 times. He's like, you know, it feels like he's an old friend, and we've now seen him really kick it up a notch. Maxim about to be stolen to divert our attention. That is really bad for Vonasten.
I'm starting to think he's maybe lost too much, and another thing he's lost too much of, course, VPs, which have gone down below 200 now. These infiltration grenades have been so useful for Talisman. He's had such great effect with them.
He really has. They've been devilish, and they're quite cheap. 15 munitions. Obviously, you have to be out of combat for a certain amount of time, but let's face it, Talisman he's waiting in cover, and he's recharging those infiltration grenade timers, and then he's got cheap grenades. It's working really well. Oh, KD. It's a 2.0 KD right now for Talisman.
Wow.
I mean, usually with Soviets, you expect a 1.5 KD against Soviets rather, but 2.0 is a big KD. That's 50% more than you'd expect.
Talisman not repairing his loops there with the Stone Pioneers. Not sure if he set up a command and they've missed that. So wasting a little bit of time there. Needs to get that back on the field and keep the pressure up. Where's the Raketin right now? Because that Raketin's going to need to keep putting pressure on the T-70. I won't blame him too much. I feel like with Talisman, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, he's got so many first grenades.
You don't want to come down too hard on him when he's not doing something, because there's about 50 other things that...
We've spoken about him like he's a god. Oh god, God's not shined his shoes today, huh? Boomer's going in for something. What's he looking for there? Interesting. Vonasten actually has a lot of fuel. Just not had the manpower to spend it because he's gotten 2 guard squads. A second now out, and that's made his manpower income, not what he'd want it to be considering how much bleed he has. And Soviets suffer with a lot of that. They have a lot of 6-man squads. You're having to upgrade them constantly, and it means you're not able to leap out onto your next tier of play. Having watched a lot of Von Ivan's streams over the past several months, you see that the top-level Soviet players do fall into a manpower sink, and I believe Vonasten's currently suffering a bit of that right now.
Yeah, the engagements aren't going well for him. I think times like this as well, where you got 2 squads suppressed, he isn't going to gain anything in this situation. He may as well just remove the units and try again. And just seeing the Lukes and the Stern Pioneers clear out the right side again. Talisman hasn't been quick enough to see the AT grenade come in there, and the T-70 is there now. Don't think there's a snare.
There's no snare on the retreat path. The Stern Pioneers could get targeted first. This could be what Vonasten needs. Target the Stern Pioneers, finish off the Lukes. Is it going to happen? No, he misses the Stern Pioneers. Will he get the finishing blows on the Lukes? No, he won't. Here comes Big Daddy Boomer, and it could turn very badly for Vonasten right now.
That was a missed opportunity, I think. I can understand why he would go for the Stern Pioneers, remove the repair capability outside of the mechanized regiment, but I definitely think that he had a chance to get the Lukes that was missed.
I just think that unfortunately he gambled there and he was unlucky. You do get unlucky sometimes in Company Heroes. There is RNG elements, but they're part of the package. He made a calculated risk assessment there. He thought, right, I'm going to go for the Stern Pioneers. Damn, just about missed. And now I've made myself vulnerable. It's risk reward. It's carrot and stick, and this time he got the stick.
I hate it when you get the stick.
Yeah, me too. I always love the carrot. I'm like, please give me the carrot. Oh, the stick again, for God's sake. But he's in a good position to keep trying. He's only lost a T-70 to 70 fuel, 200 odd manpower, so it's not the end of the world, quite frankly. Oh,
well,
now it is.
Is the end of the world is the command path, actually.
Okay, take it back. Now the end of the world.
Su-76 in the build for Vonasten. I actually like the choice. If there's anything that will start a bit of a comeback, it's those kind of cheap anti-tank units, ones that can also barrage, help with the support, also help with the tanks. So he needs a multi-purpose unit like that. I think Su-76 is a good choice.
It's a good choice if he had 300 more victory points and hadn't lost so much. And it was 10 minutes ago. I do not foresee Vonasten getting back into this. I think his lack of a tier 2, he had tier 2, sorry, his lack of units that survived out of tier 2, and lack of Ziskuns in particular has hampered him here. Going for a second guard squad. But you can talk about build orders all you want. At the end of the day, Talisman's just played a bit more sharply.
He has, yeah. This game can come down to some big moments. I think infiltration nades was a huge moment. There's little things like that that you can do. Sort of great minds in the last game. I'm not sure if I was expecting this series to be kind of 40-50 minutes total. I just not want to lose this Su-76 straight away. Puma goes in, and I'm going to use it. It's that 3-punch wombo combo.
Just make your own phrases. Why don't you just adopt, like, change them slightly, give them a stormless twist or something? It's fine. You're free rights. We're a team. We're a team. No, we're not allowed to say that yet. Don't say the secret word. We're saving that. That'll be for like the perfect Hands of Earth barrage. You know. And that is a stormless original. You can take that one. I think you did originally. That's our secret weapon this tournament.
Well, I don't see much in the way of chances for Vonasten right now. He's trying to get the VP on the right. He needs to maybe focus VP center. Instead, it looked like he was going for the strategic decap to remove resources. Not sure about that decision. You've only got 40 VPs left, Vonasten.
The MG was there. He needs to flank the MG, get the grenade off, I think. But he's all out of ideas and fresh out of luck. And yeah. 34 victory points are going to slowly ebb away as Vonasten's first chance to qualify is extinguished. But Dan, he'll be back later today in the third place playoff, fighting for an extra 3 GCS qualification points, which are extremely important and will stack up and could be his way to qualify.
I think, yeah, I love this. You know, it is the first qualification round, Barbarossa, and I think there's a lot of top-level players who probably thought they'd have an easier ride in this tournament who are going to have to seriously up their game to keep up with the top levels. And it's really interesting. I think this is, you know, because we've got 4 qualifiers, there's enough time for people to go, actually, my game isn't tight enough. And they could probably do with looking at replays like this and you know, build counter strategies, study a little bit more about where they decided to attack and build line of defense. But there we go. Vonasten has been defeated 2-0 in this series by Talisman. GG.
GG indeed.
All right, wow, what a first series. And our semi-finals today. Well played to Talisman, and well played to Vonasten as well, who didn't put on a bad show by any means.
Well, yeah, it was a disappointing day for Vonasten. I think he'll be disappointed with his performance, but as we've already mentioned, it's a quadruple elimination format. And I don't know if you just want to possibly take the guys to this page over here. Whilst I presume our referees are getting Von Ivan and Devam ready. I just assume. Sorry, on GCS2.org, go to
where have you posted this? Because
and qualification. GCS2.org. It's the website.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you were linking me something specific.
I think it's cool. It's just it's a public page.
Cool.
Just wanted to show everybody how the system works for qualification, so everybody knows what's happening basically. If you were to just have a little look down there, you've got your qualification places. I believe that's the second item. The first 4 winners of the main tournaments the winners of all 4 tournaments are guaranteed a place. They are automatically qualified. They're removed from the qualification process, and they are in the finals in September. But then you've got points in the background. You've got first, second, and third on qualification points. And the 8th place is decided based on a vote on the next 3 on points, but the benefactors will get a chance, all $40 benefactors. Below that, we've got the cutoff and wildcard playoff format showing how the wildcards work. And I was that impressed by the format yesterday. Good work, Jan, getting that together. We'll also have one for bag ration as well. But right at the bottom, Dan, 0.5, we've got qualification points. And that just shows you what the third place playoff will be today. Playing for. The third place player will get an extra 3 points, which could be vital in qualifying in September. And there you go.
Yeah, it's I really like the point system. I have to say that.
Yeah. Well, it was an idea of mine based on F1 style things and that, but really, it's all about taking what's come before, and SNF was the format that gave me that idea. And I also ran it past Ami Pulatsai-Funk. I said, to be honest, Ami, the SNF tournament series was really good. I really liked it. That was my favorite kind of format. But I think 4-man finals would have been a little bit it's kind of okay. We've been there, we've done that. I think an 8-man live tournament over a weekend actually makes more sense. So it's all about trying to get an 8-man tournament for a weekend, and I think we're going to have that. I know we're going to have that thanks to all your
We would hope.
support.
We would know we're going to have that.
No, we do.
We do know. There is going. Don't worry, everyone. There is going to be an 8-man tournament at the end of this.
It is, but it's all about getting that format to work. So it's almost like that's what we want. How do we make it happen? And it looks like we've made it happen. And we're now going to see who's going to be fighting Talisman for the right to be that first person with their plane ticket booked.
I think, interestingly, so I mean, if Talisman does win, then Talisman